Do you ever find yourself wondering how the heck to even draw an environment? Are your characters typically floating in the void? No background, just the emptiness of your canvas, piece of paper, or whatever you're drawing on. Let's teach you how to turn your backgrounds from this to this. Alright, so let's say you're working as an artist for a super cool game company. The game you're working on is a point-and-click adventure where your main character is a private investigator that does freelance work. Your senior artist just asked you to come up with an environment that your main character would have to walk through. Along with this task, they tell you 3 details. The first, they work in a city with prominent nightlife. The second, the time period is current day. And the third is that it takes place during spring. The first thing we want to decide on is where we are in the city. So the first thing I can think of is some place where nightlife is definitely prominent. So, sometime at night. I'm envisioning some bright lights emitting from the dark. Maybe we can explore some ideas with alleys or being right where the most foot traffic is. Now that we have an idea of what we want to make, we have to do a bit of research to really solidify this idea. This is called reference. Reference is one of many images that overall give you inspiration and help you figure out what exactly you want to draw. A good resource for this is Google and Pinterest. Let's search up city at night and see what we get. Hopefully we can find good references. I'm looking for 2 or 3 images that can help me decide on how I want to draw the city at night. Now that I have these images, I kind of have an idea of where I want to go from here. But to help me, I'm going to make some thumbnails. Thumbnails are small, super simple drawings that are meant to figure out your drawing's layout. So if you can see here, these are quick and easy, just meant to get certain ideas down. Don't spend time adding too much detail to these. All that you're trying to figure out is where you want to put everything in your drawing without having to fully draw it. Now, let's look at the thumbnails we made. I really like this one. It's time to start sketching! Here at the top of my canvas, I have the reference images plus my thumbnail that I chose. Some people like printing out the reference and taping them up nearby so they can always look at them. Do whatever you feel suits your workflow best. Now, let's get to the good stuff. I'm gonna start by blocking out the big general shapes I need. Any buildings or large structures. Then, after I get those done, I'm moving to any medium or smaller shapes. For example, if there's a neon sign, tables, chairs, or anything of that nature. When drawing these in though, it's important to know how to place them. To make environments feel more realistic, there are a couple of visual elements we have to take into account. The bigger something is, the closer it is to the viewer. The smaller something is, the further away it looks to a viewer. So for example, if I'm drawing this neon sign here, it's taking up a bit of space because it's closer to us, so it appears that way. But if it were further, I would make it smaller and further back. Make sense? Let's keep going with this sketch. Now that we have the sketch done, it's time to render! Rendering means now adding color and painting the background. One major point of advice I can give you is that when working on any environment, the environment isn't about how detailed you can make every little thing. It's about how well you can use shapes to build an impression of something being there. You don't have to draw every single crack on the concrete or every single reflection on the mirror perfectly. If everything is too detailed, the viewer is going to have a hard time figuring out what to focus on. So, your area of focus and most detail is what you set closest to the viewer. And as items are further back, they get less detail. Get it now? Alrighty, we're reaching the end of our development here. Time to add the final touches, the highlights. In any art you're making, your drawing will have high points where the light is hitting it the most, and then of course where the light barely hits it at all. These are called shadows, and what lies in between is a midtone. In drawings, the less of a midtone you have, that means you have more contrast. Light and dark are closer together. The more midtone you have, the less contrast there is. But don't get me wrong, contrast is good to have. It gives more of a dynamic feel. I recommend emphasizing the contrast in items closest to the viewer. Alrighty, here is our finished product. We went from this to this. I hope you found this helpful, and I'm so excited for you to take on drawing your own environment. Bye!